Praised be Jesus and Mary. In today's readings, we see a parallel between the birth of Samson, which began the deliverance of Israel from the Philistines, and the birth of John the Baptist, which began the deliverance of the people of Israel from sin. We see that both are consecrated to God from the womb. Neither is to drink wine or strong drink. Both are exceptional children because both their mothers were barren, and suddenly they were able to conceive when the angel of the Lord told them that this would happen. So the similarities are obvious. But what are the implications of all this? First of all, we see in the first reading that the wife of Manoah believed God, but there are other parts of the story that aren't included, which inform us that Manoah was a little hesitant and needed a sign or two from the angel. We see Zechariah not believing, and he's made mute. It's interesting that even in the face of the disbelief of both of the fathers, God didn't take away what he had promised. Which is something important for us to be able to recognize, because sometimes in our infidelity, we realize that perhaps we're not worthy. Not that we ever were to begin with, but, perhaps we might think ourselves unworthy to do God's work, because we've been unfaithful or we didn't believe. But God's call and his election, St. Paul tells us, are irrevocable. His call is still there. So, if God is asking us to do something, even if we have struggled with it, or, we didn't believe, or we dragged our feet, whatever it might be, we need to get back to prayer and be willing to do it. In every situation in our lives, we need to realize that God's will is at work, whether it's something extraordinary like a barren woman giving birth, or whether it's something, ordinary and simple. It doesn't matter. All of it's God's will. It's part of his plan. And, of course, that plan is our greater sanctification. So, just as the parents in today's readings, had to cooperate, the same is true for us. God chose us even before we were conceived, from all eternity. He knew that we were to be created, and he knew the purpose for which he was going to create us. He chose us, and now it's for us to seek in prayer, what it is that he wants us to do. Let us simply seek to the best of our ability God's will for us, to cooperate with his grace, so that we may carry out his plan in our lives. And his plans, are always better than ours.